No. You rise to the occasion. Experience comes with age, and I've been hearing a lot about age, you know.
We are now, and I finally get to check that off my list, and I knew this was going to be a big fight. The build up for this is huge. The press conferences are entertaining. It's a spectacle.
With only a week left before Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul step into the ring, everything is getting more intense. Joshua is dialing in his power, timing, and footwork, while Jake is grinding through tough conditioning to make sure he can match the pace. Every workout counts now, and you can feel the pressure building as we get closer to fight night.
And I have nothing but love for him, but I'm going to knock him out respectfully, and you know, we can hug and kiss afterwards, specifically kiss.
Anthony Joshua's training camp for his fight with Jake Paul is fully underway, and this time he's made a big change by switching camps. After his knockout loss in September 2024 and elbow surgery, this camp feels more urgent than ever. He's putting in heavy conditioning, clean technique work, and focused footwork sessions while training with Usyk's coaches to come in sharper and more disciplined. Joshua says the shift has been huge, pushing him harder physically and mentally. And he's using this camp to rebuild his confidence, fine-tune his strengths, and gear up for what could be a major comeback moment. Anthony Joshua starts his mornings with tough ice bath sessions to keep his body strong and speed up recovery throughout camp. The cold helps cut down inflammation, keeps his muscles feeling fresh, and builds his mental toughness. Joshua says these sessions help him stay sharp and ready for the heavy training that follows each day, showing just how committed he is to being fully prepared for the upcoming fight. Anthony Joshua is fully locked into a training environment built on discipline, sharp technique, and constant improvement, working with veteran coaches who focus on strategy and precision. Every session has a clear purpose as he tightens his offense, sharpens his reactions, and builds a defense that fires back instantly. His team studies everything from his timing to his foot placement, pushing him to break old habits and approach the sport with more IQ than raw power. People watching from ringside can see how seriously he takes every adjustment, putting in the work to better understand angles, distance, and counter opportunities. His movement is more intentional now, slipping shots and firing clean counters with control. And the energy in camp is pushing him to grow not only physically, but mentally as he prepares for the unpredictable moments that decide big heavyweight fights.
I think he's at that stage of his career where he's trying to rediscover a little bit of that confidence. He's gone to Alexander Usyk, where we're hearing reports he's out there, training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange, Paul.
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, it's the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go into camp and they start training and doing little bits together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm travelling, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth and he's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But I'm just looking at his record here. He obviously, after the Usyk fight, he'd come back and he had 3 fights and then the Ngannou demolition.
Well, yeah,
job.
Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helene, he had Otto Wallin, and he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the BoxRec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where what you've just said then, Spencer, like match him right. I felt he was matched right with Dubois. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I was wrong on that and I was proved wrong, but I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board, and where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move at Usyk, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to getting out and get back to winning ways is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8 rounders.
Yeah.
He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such
Very
a
much so.
commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been.
But it's not about his
dedicated.
physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Anthony Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here in Spencer, but I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Alexander Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out by Deontay Wilder, and we've seen what Deontay Wilder is now.
Eddie Hearn is taking this fight very seriously, fully aware of how much is on the line for Anthony Joshua and how the outcome could shape the rest of his career. He admits that a loss in a matchup like this would raise real questions about whether continuing is worth it. But even with those stakes, Hearn remains confident in Joshua's direction. He believes the months of focused work have rebuilt Joshua's discipline and sharpened his mindset, noting that every part of camp, from conditioning to sparring, has been treated like a championship-level assignment. Reports from inside training only strengthen Hearn's belief, describing a fighter who looks composed, committed, and driven. Despite the pressure around him, Joshua keeps pushing, welcoming the challenge, and showing he's ready to step up when it matters most.
A record saying that you and AJ must retire if Jake Paul wins on December 19th. Stand by that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, oh, I suppose so. Shit, yeah. Look, I don't see a world where Jake Paul wins this fight. I know that boxing's boxing. And I mean, what was it? Roy Jones came out this morning and said Jake Paul can win this fight.
Teddy Atlas as well.
Teddy Atlas? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, now I'm a bit worried. I won't retire. AJ should retire if he loses, no.
Sorry.
No, I see AJ winning this fight with ease, comprehensively, destructively, violently, and I don't see a world where Jake Paul is competitive in the fight, let alone win the fight. But luckily, AJ's not preparing in a way that he just thinks it's a joke. He's preparing for Jake Paul like he's a world title contender. Yes, it's been a little bit of a shorter camp. Yes, we've got to make weight this time around, but it doesn't matter. We should just slide through this guy and bash him up and beat him up, and we should do it early doors.
Just lastly, you said as well that you told Nikisa that he was weighing 290 when you were negotiating. What impact did that have? Did you feel like they would have gone even lower if they knew he was weighing 265?
No, I don't think that when you're negotiating on a weight, there's not one promoter in the world that would tell the truth about what the weight of the fighter was, and Nikisa knows that anyway. So it wasn't like we were being clever, but they wanted him to come to 240. And it's just, don't forget, AJ's never made weight before. So all of a sudden, he's tried, he'd been in camp for, 2 or 3 weeks. And he's probably sitting at, 260, 265. And it's like, you got to make 245. It's 20 pounds.
One of the biggest reasons Joshua's confidence stays high is the level of sparring partners he's bringing into camp, with footage showing him working rounds with top heavyweights who each bring something different to the table. Jared Anderson, with his heavy power and non-stop pressure, forces Joshua to stay tight on defense and react quickly, punishing any slow movements and keeping him alert from start to finish. Frank Sanchez brings a totally different test with his slick footwork and technical style, pushing Joshua to adjust his angles, stay balanced, and think through every exchange. These sessions aren't just tough workouts. They simulate real elite competition and put Joshua in situations Jake Paul has never experienced. The mix of styles is helping Joshua build a complete game built on timing, accuracy, and the ability to switch tactics on the spot.
Jake Paul is being dwarfed by these way bigger heavyweights like Jared Anderson, Frank Sanchez, and Lawrence Okolie. Okolie is like 6'4.5", 6'5", and these guys are like 6'3", 6'4", probably. So now Jake Paul is the one that's smaller. So first of all, I will give credit to Jake Paul. Clearly, he's a person who is taking his career seriously. These are quality sparring. I mean, a real boxer, because people say he's not a real boxer, but a real boxer would be using the same guys in their sparring camp. In fact, I just told you Joshua used Lawrence Okolie. I don't know if he sparred with Anderson or Frank Sanchez, but these are all regular ranked heavyweight. So credit to Jake Paul for that. And I mean, he's gonna need it. Joshua is a different breed to, like, you know, a Mike Perry when it comes to boxing. Different frame, different size. In case you didn't believe me, right? Jake Paul, this is what MVP Promotions posted. So Jake Paul top sparring, right? Heavyweights. And here's some pictures of Joshua with Lawrence Okoli. And again, Joshua, a big dude, but you see Lawrence Okoli, and he probably was cruiserweight back then. I mean, I don't know exactly when this picture was taken, but he's only like an inch shorter than Anthony Joshua. And now, as he's moved up to the full heavyweight, he has filled out more. You see, he looks even bigger than when he was a cruiserweight. Now, I gotta research it, but I want to say I thought Lawrence Okoli was injured.
Tony Jeff views Jake Paul's rise through the eyes of someone who has watched his steady growth over the years, noting that while Jake started with very limited skills, he has consistently put in the work to become a solid boxer. Jeff points out clear improvements in Jake's basics, including cleaner punching technique, better distance control, and stronger discipline in the gym. He also credits Jake for surrounding himself with experienced coaches and pushing himself far harder than most expected when he first entered the sport. In Jeff's view, anyone saying Jake hasn't improved simply hasn't been paying attention to how much he has developed.
They get older. Now, a problem for Anthony Joshua is his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years. And one of them, he got knocked out of Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight. And a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer. And he only had one fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now, Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023. And one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, but I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched. And I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else. What comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. Now, come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pounds versus 252 pounds. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Now, then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs. And the one person that Jake Paul lost to was Tommy Fury. Now, can we compare Tommy Fury with Anthony Joshua? Not at all. It's like night and day. So now I'm going to talk about the rules of this fight, and I'll give you my prediction, which is going to shock a lot of people after this. So, what are the rules? The bout will take place at a heavyweight, obviously. It's going to be 8 3-minute rounds. You might think, well, that's better for Jake Paul, and I'm thinking, not really. It's better for Anthony Joshua because he's just going to go all out for them 8 3-minute rounds. And imagine that, Anthony Joshua blasting at you, 6'6", whatever he is, 250 pounds, throwing big bombs at you. Anyway, both fighters will be using 10-ounce gloves for the duration of the contest. Why have they got that? It says both fighters will be wearing 10-ounce gloves for the duration of the contest. What do you expect? Them to take them off halfway through and switch them to 12s?
Professional fighter Lamont Roach sees Jake Paul's decision as bold, but incredibly risky. From a competitive view, he gets why Jake would take it. He's built his career on surprising people and proving doubters wrong. Financially, the fight is huge, offering Jake an opportunity few athletes get so early. Roach also points out the psychological side. Jake thrives on shock value, and facing someone as massive as Joshua fits perfectly. Still, Roach warns that courage alone isn't enough. Joshua's heavyweight power is real and demands more than confidence. While he respects Jake's determination, Roach stresses that this fight comes with serious risks that can't be ignored, no matter the payday.
Excuse me. My first thoughts was this guy's crazy. Not gonna lie. But I get it. Coming from a guy who's not a true traditional boxer, and to be able to have a position where he can fight a former unified world champion, former Olympic gold medalist, and to do it on such a stage where Anthony Joshua is a superstar as well. I mean, like, he sold out the O2, you know, twice.
Absolutely.
I think. So, you know, I think Jake is setting himself up for, you know, a huge spectacle, and which is, you know, kind of smart. If you're gonna go big, why not go to the highest, like the highest of the mountain? Why not? And I get it. That's what you call business right there. And I've seen a lot of guys calling them out, from like Gabe to, you know, other guys who are
Berlanga.
boxers. Yeah, like guys who actually beat them. But why would he settle for those guys when he could fight Anthony Joshua? So I think that's, you know, I think that's smart. I think that's super smart.
Smart is one thing. What do you think happens in the ring, though, champ?
I think he gets hurt for sure. I think he gets obliterated. Something close to like Francis Ngannou. I think something like that happens, and it's going to be bad for him. But there will be a lot of viewers.
Chael Sonnen looks at Jake Paul's choice with blunt honesty, questioning whether it's bold courage or a move that defies logic. He respects Jake's willingness to face tough opponents, but wonders why he would take on someone with Joshua's size and knockout power. Sonnen emphasizes that bravery only works when preparation matches the challenge. Taking risks is admirable, but jumping in unprepared is dangerous, especially in a sport where a single moment can change everything.
The Francis Ngannou performance. What if Jake makes it 5 rounds, 6 rounds? What if Jake made it to the distance? What if Jake won a round? Now, it's very hard to believe. It's very hard to imagine. I think it's the big struggle with this fight. I cannot, off the top of my head, produce a fight for you in any form of unarmed combat that drew, that was exciting, where the audience did not have a reasonable expectation, an expectation to some degree that, well, if he does this or that, there is a way for this guy to win. And that's usually pretty easy to do because nobody knows anything about fighting. Nobody watching this right now, none of you, my millions of viewers, not one of you has ever boxed. Not one of you knows someone in the family. Well, my dad was a boxer, my uncle was a boxer. No, you don't. Not only are you not a boxer, you don't even know of a boxer. Now, I only share that because when I come out and say nobody knows what they're talking about when they're talking about boxing, like, it's not meant to be an insult. You don't know anything about boxing. It was never taught to you. None of you in recess boxed. None of your junior highs, your high schools, your colleges, your community colleges offered boxing. Your hometown didn't have a boxing gym. Now really think about that. Because as much as you love the sport and as much as you think that you understand it, not only do you not understand it, you can't even have a conversation with other people who do because they don't understand it. So what is a win? I think that time counts. I think that time is a very big deal. You're in that little bitty ring, and I know a guy can run backwards, but running backwards is not illegal in boxing. It is in wrestling.
Angelo and Josh focus on boxing fundamentals, stressing that the sport is built over years of discipline, training, and experience against top-level opponents. They see Jake Paul as still developing, while fighters like Joshua and Deontay Wilder operate in a class defined by knockout power, polished technique, and years at the highest level. They argue that athletes like Joshua can shift a fight with their presence alone. One perfectly timed punch or explosive move can end a match, even if the other fighter seems in control.
I just don't think that he could compete at the highest level. And I don't think he'd beat the top 5, top 6 guys. But that in that weight class is where he'd be at, like say 180, 188 or 189, somewhere around there is where he'd probably compete. There's not a lot of talent there though. So he might be pretty good in those weight classes. Him competing in the heavyweight division against like Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua or anybody else, no. He gets annihilated. I'm very surprised he signed this fight.
I was shocked he signed this fight. I texted my buddy Bo because Bo follows boxing really well, and I texted him. I was like, dude, we might see a death. And he said the same thing. He's like, I cannot believe he agreed to that fight. But the numbers that are, nobody knows the true payouts. They're saying it's around $200 million that they're splitting evenly. So they're getting about $100 million each. He said that it was $267 million. So I don't know who you believe or don't believe, or it could be they're splitting 200 and the 67 delta, they had to pay DAZN because Anthony Joshua has a contract with DAZN. And this fight's going to be on Netflix. DAZN.
It's DAZN.
So they, which makes how the hell?
Please stop saying DAZN, okay? That's like Saint Benoit, okay?
Where's the O in DAZN?
It's DAZN.
That's a wrap for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Fighters Arena Pro for all the latest updates. Much love from the Fighters Arena Pro team.